Senator Alsobrooks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. We are now here today in day 22 of this government shutdown, but are proceeding with business as usual, still discussing abstract labor policy while dedicated public servants all across our country and in my state are going without a paycheck. It has been 22 days of this administration refusing to come to the table in good faith and negotiate a plan to keep the government open and make sure that health care is affordable and accessible for millions of Americans. It's been 22 days of this administration using the shutdown as an excuse to further target federal workers who are my constituents. Just last week, the very sinister Russell Vought ominously tweeted, "The rifts have begun," before illegally terminating thousands of federal employees. This is a man who has outwardly taken pleasure. He said it was his greatest intention and desire to traumatize federal workers, said he wanted them to be regarded as villains, and he is harming federal workers. Hours later, President Trump and Secretary Kennedy fired more than 1,700 people from the Department of Health and Human Services, including staffers that work to prevent measles outbreaks, before admitting that they had sent nearly half of the notices to employees in error at the CDC. Imagine that. With a family to support, you get a notice that you were fired before getting another email hours later telling you, oops, that RIF has been rescinded. The chaos and cruelty of this administration is unconscionable, and I am telling everyone who will listen, it will scar our country for decades to come. President Trump fired 465 more employees at the Department of Education, including the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services and the Office for Civil Rights, putting our most vulnerable children and their rights in the classroom at risk. At the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the administration fired the entire team of building inspectors responsible for making sure that around 5 million homes are safe to live in. And just yesterday, the Interior Department revealed plans to fire more than 2,000 additional staffers. And I want to point out that one of our witnesses here today has claimed that federal workers are oppressing their members. The federal worker unions are oppressing their members, stopping them from, quote, making their own decisions about what's best for them in response to the president's illegal attempts to force federal staff out of their jobs that they love, and jobs in service to the American people. Public service unions are the only organization standing in the way of these illegal mass firings, the outright political targeting of civil servants, and cruel efforts to traumatize dedicated and critical federal employees. Because of their efforts, a federal judge, who I might note has temporarily blocked these ridiculous and illegal firings, acknowledged that they were illegal in excess of authority and arbitrary and capricious. Again, at its core, we are in this situation because this administration is refusing to work with us on a simple fix to prevent health care costs from increasing for millions in just 10 days when open enrollment opens. And I'm glad that we have Mary Turner here today from National Nurses United, a union that has experience with the effects of policies designed to make health care less affordable and accessible for Americans, and one that has specific experience with the impacts of this administration's attacks on federal workers. NNU represents nurses at the Department of Veterans Affairs, which has revealed plans to lay off up to 80,000 employees this year. Cuts like these and cuts to the Affordable Care Act will have direct implications on patient care. So I don't have any questions for our witnesses today because our job is not to debate the merits of these workers in a hearing room. It is to show federal workers their value by protecting them from illegal attacks and getting them back to work. So I hope that all of my colleagues will also join me in this effort. Thank you, and I yield back the time.